Hello friends and enemies, welcome to, or back to, happy for now, it's me Isabel here with your February Romancelandia. It's a shorter month, but we also have an extra day this year because it's a leap year, so happy leap year. Oh my god, y'all, I do not like how 2024 is starting off, okay? We have too much happening. Way too much happening. So, I am going to break this down for you, everything that's happened since the last update. Who knows what will happen between the day I'm filming this and the day this goes up, because as always there's a bit of a delay there because I like to put it up for my members to watch early because y'all, well, they help me gather a lot of this up, to be honest with you, and also it's a fun perk, I feel like. So we're gonna dive right in to something that happened pretty early in February / late January, and that is about Liz Tomforde, my nemesis. Not really, I honestly could care less. My nemesis is the people who wreck her books as though she is a black author. Those are actually my nemesis. I'm here with this breaking news. So I posted a TikTok about this actually, like when we were discussing this in my Discord, because holy crap. So originally the books from Liz Tomforde, the Windy City, is that what the series is called? Either way, you know, okay, listen, this is an aside. I would have loved this series. I love Chicago. Chicago's my town. Like, that is my city. I went to part of high school out in the burbs of Chicago. Like, listen, ripe for me to love. But I had issues with the way people talked about these books and her responses to things. Either way, this book series got picked up by Berkley. Originally, book one, The Mile High? The Right Move? I don't know. That's how little I know about the series. I'm sorry, I didn't write it down, and I should have. Anyways, book one was supposed to come out in February. It got pushed to March. This led to me doing some digging, and lo and behold, I found a Reddit post that shows these on Edelweiss, which is a review platform if you're unfamiliar. It's not big for like book bloggers to use necessarily, but librarians and booksellers use it a lot. I have some books I get on Edelweiss, so it's over there mostly, and they noticed that the book series said canceled. So there's our proof, canceled. So it seems like, though she got a deal, it was canceled. Now, that doesn't mean she didn't get any money or anything like that, but I am curious what this fully means. I don't know that we're gonna know because Liz has her comments limited on Instagram. Everything about this deal is gone, basically. You have to like go into the archives of the internet a little bit to dig. And I'm a nosy girl, and I will dig, and I have dug because this was announced. None of the new covers from Berkley are available to purchase. You can only get the old covers still. There's no pre-order in sight. The only thing I could find about her books on Edelweiss now is a Spanish version. That's it. There is not a word to be found anywhere about these Berkley re-releases. Did we win? Did the backlash work? I'm curious. We'll never know. But I'm curious. I mean, maybe we will. I will also note I had insight on my TikTok from someone who is a bookseller that said a lot of their Berkley books got canceled recently, including this series. So there's that. Interesting. Let me know your theories, obviously, down below, because I'm curious what happened here. I just want to give a caveat here. I'm about to talk about Manacled again. We talked about it last month. We talked about people buying and selling fan fiction and how that's not okay, and we'll talk about it in a minute, a little more here. Another thing I think that is good to note when we talk about fan fiction is that we're talking about this in my Discord, it's a gift economy. Fan fiction is like a gift to the community, and it's a gift to get to read it, right? And it doesn't exist in a space always to be criticized and critiqued in the same way you would critique a regular book, which is part of the problem with it being on Goodreads and some of those places sometimes. The other issue with fanfic, there can be a lot of legalities at risk here. That's why after Anne Rice died, there was a bunch of Lestat Interview with the Vampire fic dropped that people have just been sitting on because she went after people for writing fic about her story. So yeah, like, it's a whole legality thing. There's so much here, okay? And I'm not gonna get into it because I'm not a lawyer, so I don't fully grasp it, but I just know that, like, I don't want to lose fic, and I don't want us to lose fic. So like, just please stop. But on that note, the most popular fic that, we had this discussion in my Discord as well, some, that people are using it to bring back a certain turfy author into the lexicon and to discuss them more without guilt, so to speak. But I do think, like, if you're going to engage with this fic and some of these fic segments that are popular, you have to also engage with the fact that, like, you don't agree with those beliefs and be vocal about it. So, like, if you're gonna read that pairing or anything from that world, be vocal about the fact that you do support trans people. It's not hard to do both. I think you can do both, and I think you can show that you do stand with them and you have a weird spot for this. Like, it's a whole thing. But on that note, Do you know where I'm going? I'm sure you know where I'm going. Manacled, yes, that Manacled, has officially been picked up for publishing by Del Rey in the US for this novel called Alchemised, coming in 2025, I believe. I mean, I'm pumped for her. Like, go her. Like, that, like, this is such a win, right? She is taking this really popular thing that has themes and a lot of nuance to it, it seems. I've not read it, so I don't know. And has gotten picked up and has been reworking it to be traditionally published so it doesn't rely on the backbone of the narrative of a world created by someone who has turned out to be really awful. I'm really, really curious to see how this turns out. I'm excited to see it. I think, you know, fanfiction's a great proving ground for good writers. It's a good way to practice your craft. There's a lot of nuances to the way in which like fics are being published now. I've read good published fics and I've read published fics that are like not great. So there's that too, right? But I'm just saying, like, I'm hopefully optimistic that Alchemised is going to work really, really well. But on that note, if you want a digital copy of Manacled, because you're allowed to do that, you can literally go to their profile on Instagram and click a button to send a EPUB to your Kindle, okay? So like, just do that. Like, you don't need the trophy for your shelf, okay? Like, please, just wait for the physical release and have the trophy on your shelf that way. The other thing with this, I want to know, I saw some developments on TikTok the other day from some other fic authors who are basically ready to pull their fics down because of the way that people are grabbing them and selling them as bound copies or PDFs on sites. So like, just, y'all, it's not hard to use the internet and to grab these things. So do that, please and thank you. Yeah, when it comes down to Alchemised, mostly here, I'm curious. I really am curious to see how, from what I understand of the story, you have to understand parts of the world being based in that. And I'm not really sure how that's gonna work. So like, I'll just be curious to see how this turns out. I'm optimistic, okay? I'm optimistic. If Sin Lin Yu is as good a writer as everyone says, they can pull it off, okay? That's how I feel like they can pull this off then. Let's talk about some Twitter drama. Because listen, we were on all the apps this month. All of them. There's this book account on Twitter who, bless their heart, because they keep posting, okay? They keep posting things and getting ratioed and dragged and made fun of and all these things. And of course they're posting romance stuff and just getting shit talked to no end, right? Of course. They posted The Darkest Corner of the Heart by Lucina Coney, something like that. This cover. And we're like, I'm so excited about it. Someone decided to retweet it, like a quote tweet of it, with a page that looks like this. And said, this is not for real. And people ran with this information, okay? They bolted into the streets just overreacting, which I did too. I was like, what on earth is going on? Is this real? Like, this can't be real. Like, is this real? Like, oh my gosh, you know? But as we all know, with things like Kindle Unlimited, a lot of things are possible. And yeah, this person quote tweeted it with this page. It has like weird ballerina insults, like ballergot. Am I saying that right? It's like maggot. I don't even know how to take this. But anyways, people were like, oh my God, this is terrible. So a lot of people were criticizing the book. They were criticizing like, how is it forbidden for a ballerina and a physical therapist to get together? All these things. There was like, the text was awful. But again, anything self-published, it's a gamble. I'm not saying this to insult self-published authors. I'm just saying like, you really can go to KU and pick a thing up and it could read like this excerpt did, right? Like, it wouldn't surprise me to find that. Okay, anyway, so people are freaking out, then accusing this person of like causing review bombing on the book. Luckily, last I checked, there's not a ton of reviews on it. It's out now and their other book did really well. So I don't think it's gonna affect their career long term, but some people did post like 1-star reviews and weird reviews. But then after getting called out for it, this poster was like, I said this is not for real. And I need y'all in 2024 to bring back your group chats, please. I'm begging you, authors, reader, everybody, bring the group chat back. Because this person was like, I said it was a parody clearly, and I'm sorry, but no. Like, you have to very clearly lay out that something is a parody. Because people aren't yearning for disinformation and just like hungry for it. The way you presented that statement did not make it look like it was disinformation. Don't do that. It's not that hard. But here we are. Anyways, they locked down their account because of course they did. And that poor girl that first tweeted that cover, I'm not joking. Like, I feel like she's in my feed every other day, just getting retweeted and criticized for like how she annotates a book and this and that. And I'm just like, y'all need to go take a nap. But again, the original poster, like, of the faked review also said that this was their, like, critique on cishet romances. I just, like, again, not that there's not room to critique them, but, like, let's not put another author in the firing range of your critique always when you haven't even read the book. So I do want to note that, like, this was just, like, kind of funny to watch happen at the end of the day. I'll link to a great TikTok summary of it as well. But yeah, I mostly left it kind of amused, I'm not gonna lie, but also just like annoyed at people for not being able to be like, this would have been just as much fun if you were clear that it was a parody. Also, I will say this outed me for a lot of people not understanding the forbidden romance trope, and like, no crap, the ballerina and her physical therapist shouldn't be hooking up. Hello? Of course that's a little bit forbidden. Anyways, it's fine. People are weird. Good times. Another one where people are weird. There has been so much drama around sprayed edges, specifically with this Whimsy and Wonder Design website person. I'll link to some TikToks down below where people screen captured her lives. Like, she's mad because the author of Butcher and Blackbird told her to stop selling her book with sprayed edges. Okay. But my favorite part of this drama personally was watching how everyone is now a lawyer and understands copyright, trademark, and first doctrine sale laws. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not a lawyer and I don't understand them, nor am I going to. But I did notice that some lawyers were like, yeah, it's fine. Is it ethical? And other lawyers were like, but actually, this isn't this. So, like, until it was taken to court, you wouldn't really know. I just think it was really funny because this creator basically threw a fit because how dare the author ask her? And I just feel like this is one of the things, if you're going to do a business where you spray edges of books, like collaborating with the author, reaching out before you do it, offering them a version of it or something, like, could be beneficial. And then I heard too that she'd potentially like worked with an indie author, got books at a discount, and then like sold them for $50 a piece still. So I don't know. It's a lot of hearsay. It's a lot of mess to navigate, to be honest with you. My biggest takeaway is, like, if somebody tells you no, don't throw a hissy fit. Just don't do it. It's not a big deal. Also, we're not all lawyers. So, like, stop acting like we're all lawyers. Okay, let's talk about AI. Because, of course, we have to talk about AI again because it's never ending. So, Gothikana by Rue Nix was re-released traditionally by Bramble Tor's imprint with, like, pretty sprayed edges and all this stuff. And turns out the cover is AI generated. Now, here's how you, like, can really tell. There's, like, weird floating bits in this gate. It's not actually symmetrical. Like, the swirls aren't the same. I'll post, like, a link to some people who have done really good explanations. But, like, the symmetry in this thing is so off. And you can tell, it can't tell what the foreground and the background is. Like the way the building is oriented and stuff. Tor used AI art. Go figure. Go freaking figure. I'm so frustrated at the AI discussion and the fact that we keep having to circle back to this and talk about why it's wrong. I just saw, I'm not going to share it here, it's been fixed or being fixed, a cover that was a skull that was AI and it had like 3 rows of teeth, y'all. Like, come on. I just don't think it's that hard to employ artists to do this work because it's gonna look a lot better. Because honestly, the Gothikana cover has bugged me for a while now, and seeing it in person, I was like, oh, that is why. Because yeah, it's just weird overall. And yeah, Tor's been pretty silent. Rue Nix has also unfortunately been pretty silent on this. Like a freaking zombie from the grave, the RWA is back at it, and we're still talking about AI. I just wanted to note that the RWA posted this whole thing that they're hosting a little, like, get to know how to use AI to develop your romance story with this author. Anyways, dive into the exciting world of AI writing, of AI-assisted romance writing with Rochelle Elia, a multi-published romance author working on book number 100. Okay. Rochelle's been using AI for a year, and she's happy to cut through the hype and show you insider tips from sparking new story ideas to refining your manuscript, generating scenes, or penning compelling marketing copy. So yeah, she's gonna walk you through how to use AI. And I just felt like when I saw this post, I literally just felt like it was like Beetlejuice just being summoned out of nowhere, because I don't know the last time I honestly saw anything from the RWA, and I'm not mad about it. Not mad about that, to be honest with you. But yeah, AI bad. We're still having this discussion. I'll link to the great the great Threads post about a tech bro defending AI also, and that we don't buy book covers because they're aesthetic. We buy books based on what's inside. And I have bad news. A lot of this was bought because I liked the cover, and that's fine. Did you know that there's somebody in Romancelandia that wants to be the next Gossip Girl, and it's not me? Boy, do I know a lot of the gossip. Like, everybody, like, all of my friends come to me and are like, hey, what happened here? And I'm like, oh, hey, I'll tell you all about it. You know, there may or may not be a document I have that just lists things that people have done as far as authors go, so I don't forget. Not me. I would never. There's definitely not a video on my channel from 3 years ago in which I talked about a bunch of authors who behave badly also that are about to reoccur in this conversation. Not me. I would never. So this post was made in a Facebook group anonymously, and I don't have a great screenshot of it, so I'm gonna make do because I'm not in the group, and one of my members graciously brought this to my attention. And May over at This Past Romance is going to read this to you in the style of Gossip Girl. So hold on. I don't know if she's doing a preppy or a southern accent, but you'll find out, just like I will in a minute.
Hashtag Taboo Troubles. For the taboo authors and taboo readers, since y'all want to be so petty, who wants me to spill some more secrets? Psst, I'm not one person, I'm two. I'm also not the only person involved in this process to remove these particular authors. Mutual author friends, PAs, and trusted street members were a part of this all. Keep waiting and watching. XOXO, Gossip Girl.
So, whoever made this post is reporting taboo books on Amazon and other places to get them removed, which has been an issue before, okay? But I also need to note, you can write taboo books. You cannot be mad when they get removed from a website that you're violating the terms of service on. It's not freedom of speech to be able to violate the terms of service on a website. When you sign up to be in KU or in the KDP program or Amazon, whatever, to make your money, you agree to terms and services. And those terms and services do dictate some of what can be in your book. That is not freedom of speech. And I swear to God, if any of y'all in the comments tell me that's freedom of speech being violated, we will tussle. Thank you. This is your warning. Anyways, it's not freedom of speech being violated. I swear to God. People report things for dumb reasons. Do not get me wrong. People do this to be vindictive and to be shitty humans. But also, sometimes books get pulled because they do actually have things that violate the terms and services on Amazon to upload your book. Not because people are out to get you. Anyways, that's just my reminder here. I feel like I have to remind that every time books are getting pulled off Amazon and other places. Some posts were then shared that are now gone that I have. Thank you. But basically, these posts surfaced that were supposed to be DMs between Seven Rue and other people involved in the reporting scheme happening here to take down taboo books. Here's just some of the chat screenshots. I'll put them up here next to me. I'm not going to read through them. They're not like that damning. They're just kind of like, they're kind of weird. I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like they read kind of stilted. And nobody will say who the person was that she was DMing with, but Seven Rue posted a Notes app screenshot apology, sort of, not really an apology, a fuck off, we'll call it, more of a fuck off. She posted that, and now my friend Megan at Meowth Vader, who does not post videos really, this is me calling her out for not posting videos, but is on lives with us often, is gonna read that to you, and I will put up the text here for you to follow along.
I lost the only opportunity to print my books on Lulu 2. I was banned too. And you think I orchestrated all this to gain from it? I'm not an author to become the biggest and most known one. I'm an author because I am good at writing and telling stories. I won't let you bully me off the internet because of certain people's ways of harassing me. I won't quit, but I will leave this community of bullies and childish people behind. I'm glad the ones who have always only used me finally showed themselves. I've always done my thing and never bothered anyone. If my success bothers you, it's not my issue. I worked hard for this myself without the help of anyone. And that's what you're jealous of. My books will stay, and future ones will come. Read them, or don't. I have never asked for reviews, never pressured anyone to buy my books. I've always been kind enough to send out an extra signed copy to people who ordered them, and I have given free ebook copies without asking for anything in exchange. I've helped Taboo authors get their books on Lulu and helped them create a website because that's what I had been doing and they desperately needed help. I use my platforms to market my books and send out 1 to 2 newsletters a month, not even every month. And if a video were to go viral on my social media accounts, that's literally not my doing. So don't lie about me scamming people to get more sales. I wasn't the only name on that list. And to your information, one of those authors on that list was the author who told the organizer of an anthology to kick me out, which then happened right before she blocked me. People have been rude to me ever since I published my first book. And even then, I have not asked for reviews or for people to buy them. I published a book because I felt like it. And it so happened to kickstart a career for me. Good things come to good people. And I was an example of that. And if you can't handle that, you have no right to let it all out on me. I have been disrespected by strangers with small minds on the internet for way too long. And it was time to finally defend myself. I've stayed quiet for far too long. And even with all of this anger inside of me, I can still contain myself not to show everything I have had to read, from people calling me names to sending me death threats. I am done being used for your entertainment. And know that if you engaged in any of these hate trains, you're not a good person. My comments will be off. My DMs closed. My Facebook page will be deleted because that is the most toxic place ever. My private life stays private, and I will continue to publish books. You've not ruined me and my career. You have only made me stronger. Thank you for that. And while you create your next fake chats and screenshots to show your little cult following of bullies, I will be writing my next book and putting my energy into doing what I love.
Okay, my takeaway is somebody who's been doing Romancelandia for a very long time. Way too long. But I love doing it and I'm still here. I like making content. That's why I'm still here. I did a video in 2021, in February of 2021, where I talked about authors behaving badly and making it their entire personality. Sevener is in that video. She got in trouble in 2020 for bullying authors. So I don't think it's a jump to assume she's repeating the behavior in 2024. Now, if it's not her, that's fine and dandy, and I'm cool with that too. Like, I by no means am like, how dare. Like, maybe it's not. Maybe she's reformed. People change. People change. People do change. But I can't imagine a better option if you wanted to blame somebody and it wasn't them at the same time because they have a history of this. I don't know. I don't have any details. If you have more info and you want to hit me up with it, my email's in the description box. I would love to know if you've got proof in either way of stuff. Yeah, like it's one of those things where, I don't know. I just don't know for sure. You know what I mean? But I just gotta say, if you've got a history of a behavior and somebody's saying you're doing it again, I'm gonna believe them for the most part because you've got a history already of this behavior. So it's a lot harder for me to believe that you're like fully reformed. That's just me. Let's talk about Spotify. Listen, this is gonna be such a long video. Anyways, let's talk about Spotify and Findaway voices. So an email went out with new terms for putting your book on Spotify, which led to a lot of reactions within about 12 hours of that going out. And by the next morning, Spotify had come back around. I'm going to share the narrator I follow's video where she talked about the terms and the issues with it. Okay. And then Rebecca Thorne, who does really, really good videos on TikTok, and I'm sure she posts them on Insta too, but she shares a lot of insights to publishing and stuff, including vanity presses and like predatory practices there within. But she talked to a contract lawyer about these terms and kind of what was happening. And then the next morning, literally, TikTok, Spotify was like, hey, we didn't mean it like that. We didn't mean it like that. That was a lot of legalese, huh? We sure did F up. Again, none of us are lawyers. Well, some of us are, but most of us are not lawyers, okay? So, like, we can only interpret it how we read it. So Spotify was like, we're fixing that, I promise, because I think within about 12 hours of that email, a lot of authors pulled their books off Spotify books, and they were, like, panicked. So, yeah, the terms of services were not written well. People often will say, like, we can't hold corporations accountable, and we can't drive change. And this is an example where we can. This is exactly what we're talking about when we're talking about holding corporations accountable. When a terms of service is that shoddy and questionable that you perhaps are signing away the rights to your story and allowing them to make sequels without your permission, I'm just saying, not it. Not it. And quickly, because of the outrage, they fixed it. It seems. We'll see. But I'm just saying, like, we can hold corporations accountable. It is possible. And this made me feel a little good that, like, it happened so quickly. Next, we have Joe Arden. My boy Joe Arden, many people's favorite audiobook narrator. I looked at him at Authors in the Bluegrass. May met him. He started a foundation. It was like a year ago when his book came out. A year ago, maybe more, to help put narration tools, like for audiobooks, into the hands of of narrators of color. And people gave money at this event for this. And it was just silence then afterwards. And this TikToker called it out. I'll link to their story time down below. I'll give you a little summary here though. Basically, she wanted to know what, she'll start listening to Joe Arden again or that when she knows what happened, because people helped raise money for this and there's not been a 501c created, like no charity, like there's nothing, no progress. Joe did respond pretty quickly and I do admire him for that. And he said basically like it was a lot harder than he thought to make the 501c. So instead he's looking for who he can partner with to make this happen because they're already a charity organization. And I think that's fair. That is a fair decision to make, okay? Like that, I'm not too mad about that. I think that's very fair to do. So he's looking for who he can partner with to make this happen. And that's where the money's gonna go. So if there's ever an update, I'll let you know. But I just thought it was real interesting because I had not heard about this at all until this person called out. And there were a lot of people in the comments like, yeah, I gave money to that too. What's going on there? So Joe just didn't think people cared and people did care. So I think it's great that he responded as quickly as he did. I'm a little like, whatevs about it, but there's that. This is our last thing before the speed round. We have a speed round this month. Okay, let's talk about Bride by Allie Hazelwood. Okay, this is the original Bride cover. See it, bask in it. This is the Steamy Lit Special Edition Bride cover. This is by Lenny Kaufman. People got a little wild over this cover. One, people didn't realize that like it was a special edition. Fine, whatever. People are also rightfully slightly burnt out on some of Lenny Kaufman's art. And this is like no hate towards Lenny. I enjoy a lot of her covers. Some of them I don't like. It just varies. I also am burnt out on illustrated covers though. So like, I get it. We're gonna do the funny part and then we'll talk about the not fun part. So people were like, he doesn't have a buzzed head. Where did this come from? And Steamy Lit posted a TikTok where like, they're like page 8, short brown hair buzzed. I'm sorry, but that is really funny. Really, really funny to me that they were like response and then just like her coming into frame. I'll link it. It made me giggle. Anyways, like it or hate it, people were accusing like Lenny of not following the brief for the art, which none of us have the brief for this art direction, of like no one understanding this book, all these things. And I saw funny critiques like, it looks like it's an outdoor shopping mall with their dog. Kind of not wrong. Does it scream romance, paranormal romance to me? No, not really. It really doesn't. And that's fine. It's a special edition. It's not the main cover. I like the main cover of Bride. In fact, I plan on purchasing it because I do think it kind of communicates paranormal romance, but I don't dislike the special edition either. This conversation quickly went from, I don't like this cover, to like not liking, like critiquing Lenny Kaufman covers, which again, valid. There is a bit of a Lenny Kaufman burnout right now, I think, because again, she's getting so many covers and I think possibly more covers than she can keep up with somewhat, in my opinion. And this then led to Lenny very unfortunately making these Instagram posts that I'm going to share with you here. So her post is with the cover, and I don't know if people were like sharing her post and like she saw that or tagging her, because that's not appropriate, okay? So she said, I've been seeing a lot of complaints about this cover, both on here and on Twitter, from people upset that the characters look like this. I hope readers know that artists don't just draw characters according to their own whims. We get given a brief directly from the author and publisher requesting specific things, a shaped head, a specific height difference, blonde hair, a specific type of architecture, etc., and sometimes even a color palette to stick to. I also stumbled on several threads on Twitter complaining about how truly awful my cover art is and how hideous it is, blah blah. I don't think I'm equipped to deal with that kind of barrage of hate, most of which was coming from actual authors. To those actual authors, how would it make you feel if hundreds of people complained about how crap your book is and how hideous it is? How would it make you feel? If you aren't being tagged in the criticism, block and move on, is my first piece of advice. Close the gap. Get out. Lenny has since locked her Twitter. Valid. She also then tweeted, wow, people on here can be as mean as snakes. And I just, again, if there's one thing I want to help push in the world is that we can critique things without attacking the creator of the thing. Generally. Sometimes I deserve it. But I'm just saying, like, you can critique a cover art, right? Because it's going to be in her style. But maybe the brief wasn't the best. I don't know. You know, I don't have the brief from the Steamy Lit special edition, right? I don't have the brief for any of the books she's done. But, like, there are Lenny Kaufman covers I think are stunning and very different and fun, and I love those covers. And then there are Lenny Kaufman covers that I feel like look like the same cover with slight tweak. That's where I feel like we can, you know, again, we can have this discussion. Twitter, unfortunately, can be a bit of a cesspool in how things are fed to you, and that's not great, and that can be annoying. Very, very annoying. And I think it's really, really funny when people act like they're above criticism and critique when they are in the creative field. It's kind of just part of the creative field to an extent. To an extent. Again, you should not be getting DMs and messages of people attacking you or being tagged in criticism. By no means am I saying that. But I'm just saying sometimes you have to know to just move on. Scroll by. Log out. Ignore it. Like, it's just okay to do that. Like, I was a little frustrated at her response to all of this, to be honest. Like, I just think, again, she could have just logged out and not posted anything. And I do think, again, I can see why we have burnout on Lenny Kaufman covers. And that's no hate to her. But we also aren't, no one is, we say we want them, but it's not going to happen. We're never going to go back to the original clinch, right? I wish we would. I wish we could. But I don't believe we have the skill set anymore in society to go back to the original clinch now. I would love to see more illustrated covers that are clinchy, so to speak, like where they are like in a like together, not standing apart, you know, but I don't know if we're going to get that back. We don't have people who make these beautiful oil paintings, which are what original clinch covers were. Like they studied figure like drawing classes and all these things. Like, I just think that art has been lost. And I do think, you know, I have a whole conversation about cover art and how we've lost a lot of the language of romance book covers, which is devastating, to be honest. And I don't know how we go back. I don't know what the path back is to recommunicate it. And like with Bride, I feel like the dark colors, the reds, the wolf, like it does communicate some of this being a paranormal book. And does the new Steamy Lit special edition cover not communicate that as well? Kinda. Does it matter? It's a special edition. Not really. If you like it, get it. If you don't like it, don't get it. I don't hate it and I don't love it. Like, I'm kind of indifferent on it. I might buy it. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. I want the Afterlight edition. I'll tell you that. I want the Afterlight edition. But I don't think I'm going to find that at a good price aftermarket. Anyways, this just to me was really interesting. And I just really want to bring back the idea of like, we can critique, we can criticize things, but don't tag people. Because I don't know for sure yet. But something tells me people were probably tagging her. And that's not appropriate. All right, y'all ready? You ready for the speed round? I hope you are. Okay. I have 3 things for you in this little speed round of announcements before we wrap this behemoth of a freaking Romancelandia up. Like, I have 2 20+ minute recordings right now. Let's go. Speed round. 2024 is the last year for Book Bonanza. They officially announced it is the last event. I am ready for something better to come to Dallas because that's where my family is. So, like, I can go to Dallas. That's easy. So, fingers freaking crossed, y'all, for a better Dallas event because I do not like Book Bonanza. Next is the ACOTAR TV show is in developmental holds. Maybe, possibly, maybe overreaction. We're not sure. Something's happening. There's probably a penalty clause if they stop development. So, like, it might just be on this weird pause indefinitely. Curious to see how that goes. And last but not least is a fun announcement thing that I think is pertinent to bookish spaces. The Wicked Villains series by Katie Robert has been picked up by Sourcebooks, being republished with footnotes. And the second generation Wicked Villains books have also been picked up, the first 3 by Sourcebooks. Unsurprised, but excited to see how this pans out. I was fussing at the cat for moving the camera, and then I just moved my own camera. Anyways, that is everything for Romancelandia in February. I need everyone in March to take a big breath. Just a, like really let it out before you post your hot takes. Please and thank you. Before you start some shit, please and thank you. I need a quiet month. Please. March and April need to be calm. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. Either way, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your favorite thing that happened this month, or if there's somebody you think I missed. If you don't want to do that, you can leave me a coffee emoji, because I'm currently 2 coffees in for the day, and that is more than normal, which is fine. I'm fine. I needed energy for this. If you aren't already a member of my Patreon or YouTube, you can join and get Romancelandia early every single month with the Romancelandia supporter or higher tier. And if you don't want to do that, no worries. I will have links to all of the stuff I talked about that I can link to down below for you. Links to my friend anywhere on the internet. And I will talk to y'all in just a few days. Bye.
Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be. Life with no distractions, we'll get away. This is what we